Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David, and today I'm running a session of Girl Underground with on the Gauntlet Hangouts. So, Girl Underground is a game by Lauren McManaman and Jesse Ross. It's a Powered by the Apocalypse game, so it's sort of based off of the general Apocalypse world engine and setting. Well, not setting, engine and rule set and philosophy. The specific take on this game is that it's all about a young girl traveling into a strange land where she has all sorts of wondrous adventures and hopefully learns a little about herself. It's heavily inspired by things like Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, that sort of thing. It's a nice little game, just a little zine-sized game, and I do recommend checking it out. I'll put links below where you can probably find more out about that. As I said, this game is being run as part of the Gauntlet Hangouts calendar. The Gauntlet can be found at gauntlet-rpg.com, and we have all sorts of things going on there. There are forums where people can chat about games. There's a calendar itself where you can you sign up for games. We have a family of podcasts, and there's also a monthly zine where sort of setting hacks for games and other information are found. So yeah, I'd recommend checking all that out. Again, I'll put links to that below. First, what I'll do is I'll just ask our players to briefly introduce themselves, and then I'll start explaining how we play this game and what we're doing. As I said, my name is David. I use he/him pronouns, and I will just ask people to introduce themselves in the order that they appear on my screen. Ludo, if I can ask you to introduce yourself first, please.
Hello, I'm Ludo. I go by any all pronouns, and I've been playing on the Gauntlet around 1 year.
That's brilliant, thank you. And Alan. Oops, sorry, I was muting myself there. Yes, Alan, if you'd like to...
Yes, my name is Alan, and I've been playing with the Gauntlet for about 9 months now, I think.
Brilliant, thank you. And
sorry, he/him.
No worries. That's brilliant, thank you. And Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter. I use he/him pronouns, and I've been playing with the Gauntlet. This is August now, so yeah, actually about 9 months. So that's pretty cool.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So the first thing we'll be doing today is fleshing out some details about the girl that we'll be playing. Actually, I will also, as part of this, just ask people a couple of questions just on the sort of thing that they are looking from this game in terms of sort of setting, that sort of thing, which probably won't come up in a particularly big detail. As I said, this is kind of based off of things like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz. So our starting point will be, the real world for a given definition of that phrase. So I guess I'm just going to ask this as an open question. Does anyone have any preference for the world that our girl comes from? Are people interested in doing it kind of modern day, or do we want to look at a more historical setting, whether that be kind of Victorian or mid-century or something like that? Does anyone have any thoughts?
Because it's driven by the manners that she's supposed to never or always be. They strike me as a very traditional set. So I personally, I struggle to see all of those applying in a modern setting.
Yeah, that's fair, and we will get onto that in a moment because you do have some options on which ones you choose to be central to the girl's character. But yeah, I tend to agree that I think maybe a slightly pre-modern or pre-contemporary setting might work slightly better. But yeah. Cool. So does anyone have, with that sort of in mind, does anyone have a sort of time period they're interested in coming from, I suppose is the best way of putting it, or a culture for that matter?
Well, if nobody else wants to chip in, I think that the 1950s is an underused decade.
Yeah.
1950s where? Yeah, because pre-globalization, that changes a lot when it sees the 1950s.
I mean, I suppose I mean, we're not going to spend a lot of time in the real world.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm not too fussy about it personally, because I'm like, all right, get adjusted, throw out the adjustments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm kind of big on a big anachronistic setting because there's no lack of time periods in which society is weird about girls. So
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, if we say something kind of inspired by the 1950s, I mean, it doesn't have to be particularly tied to. If we go with something that's like, again, unless anyone has any specific preferences, otherwise something that's vaguely, I guess, Anglo-American. And while there are differences between like culture, etc., in America and the UK in the 1950s, it's still boils down to a very similar sort of general feel, I think. So yeah, that sort of, if we take that as our inspiration, I think that could work. Cool. So with that said, the first thing we all need to do is if you head into the character keeper and go to the tab that says the girl, what we will do here, the first thing that we need to do is determine the girl's name. And the way we determine the girl's name is we consider the things that she lacks in the family that she lives with. One of the important things to point out at this point is that the girl's family always loves her, even if they don't necessarily express that in the way that she would like. So I will just I'll just list these. I won't do this for all of the various option lists because some of them get quite long. But for this one, I will do it. So, for instance, you can the question is if your family has love but no curiosity, if your family has love but no money, if your family has love but no time, if your family has love but no magic, or if your family has love but no quiet. It is also at this point possible to sort of write in an option, in which case you should write in the option that you want to use, the thing that the family lacks, and also an appropriate name to go with that lack. So this question is addressed to all three of you because the name and the lack are quite central to the character of the girl. So this is a decision for you to come together on. The next questions I ask I will be asking to specific players, but this one is to you in general. So again, I'll just go down the list of people in front of me here and get a gauge of what people want. So Ludo, are you thinking of any of those names in particular, or any of those lacks in particular?
Yeah, I am more drawn towards magic.
Cool. That's 2 thumbs up. So, if your family has love but no magic, your name is Faye. So, in fact, I will just tick that one now. So yes, and I guess my question here is, how do people think that lack of magic manifests in the family? Is it sort of, is there maybe a that's my train of thought there. Is there sort of a religious aspect to that, or is it kind of that they're very, you know, a very grey family, you know, very sort of buttoned down and uninspiring, I suppose would be a word, or highly rational and scientific and emotionally cold? What sort of feeling do we have for the family?
I think they're just dull. This bit of the film is definitely in black and white.
Yep.
Yes, that's a good way of thinking about it.
You know, obsession with appearance, with uniformity, with conformity, lives defined around clocks.
Yep, that's cool. I like that. I'll just make a few notes of that in the in here. Perfect. So, right. So the next, so the first question that I will ask, I think I will ask this one to Alan. How does Faye like to wear her hair?
Oh,
And you'll see there's a list there, and again a write-in option if you feel like it.
I'd like it to have tangled and knotted hair like a fraying rope.
Excellent. And I mean, I feel like I already know the answer, but is this the sort of thing that's a constant source of friction between her and her mother, who's always trying to sort of comb out the tangles? And
Absolutely. Frey, comb your hair.
yeah, brilliant. So Peter, how does Faye sound when she speaks?
I'm going to say dreamy like a cotton candy cloud.
Oh. Excellent. I think that one's fairly self-explanatory. I can't see that one necessarily being. I think that feels fitting, but I think not that there's necessarily going to be an inherent opposition there. And Ludo, what is Faye's prized possession? So you'll see there's kind of a list of themes there, and then you can obviously give a little description of exactly what that is as well.
Yeah, I think it's something Faye made.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say that she made a motorized car on her own because their parents refused to buy one, and she just made her own.
Nice, that's cool. Awesome. Did she have anyone help her with this project, or was it just something she did on her own?
I'm gonna say that she had a friend that helped with that, but basically, that was a friend that they had at their old neighborhood, but they changed it. They moved out of there and they no longer associated with that kind of people. Now they deal with better people, and nobody else is interested on her battered, improvised car. And yeah, so she's looked down as, and what she created with her most precious friend that she misses every day is just seen as a piece of trash by these people she has to live with.
Brilliant, thank you. So, Alan, what is Faye's biggest fear?
What is that? I think based on that from Ludo, I think I'm going to go for humiliation, because she was desperate to have the car. She built it, and now no one where she now lives appreciates it, and she's embarrassed by the apparent failure or imperfection.
That's brilliant, yep. And finally, Peter, what does Faye want to be when she grows up?
Oh. It's interesting because this one doesn't list any choices. It's just what does she want to be? I was like, choice. Oh boy. I'll say I kind of want to say a writer.
Sure.
Yeah. The thing is, at this point, she's not specific at all what kind of writer. She just thinks a writer can do whatever.
Cool. I like that. Brilliant. So I'll just ask now a couple of other questions, just sort of free form. Ludo, does Faye have any brothers or sisters?
No. And yeah, and their parents have kind of been trying to have another child, but no.
Sure thing. Yep, sorry, just muted myself. I think, Alan, what is Faye's favourite subject at school?
Oh, science.
Excellent. And Peter, despite everything we've said, what is it that that Faye really likes about her about home?
There's a small comfort in how consistent things are. There's a safety in it. You know, it may not be very magical, but it's reliable, and I think that is something that, you know, she may take a little for granted sometimes, but overall is
perfect. Yeah,
there.
That's cool. So the next thing I will ask you to do is we will pick 8 manners for Faye. These are expectations, as I said before, expectations that have placed on her by by society. So we'll see there's 8 boxes with little drop down lists in there. This is quite an extensive list, so but again, I will just keep going around till we've got all those filled up. So Ludo, do you want to choose our first mana?
Young ladies must never acknowledge imperfections.
Perfect. And Alan.
What about? Where's it go on? Young ladies must never act like boys.
Excellent. And Peter.
Let me see. Young ladies must always look before they leap.
Nice. The other thing I should have said before we started doing this bit. If anyone suggests one that you don't really want to explore, then do feel free to speak up at this point. That's perfectly fine with either. I know I'm asking these round in order. That's just 'cause it's a lot easier when we're chatting online. So if there is anything you're not really interested in exploring, then feel free to say. But Ludo.
Young ladies must never make demands.
Awesome. Alan.
Young ladies must never go into dark places.
Peter.
Let's see. Young ladies must always keep their feelings to themselves.
Young ladies must never show anger.
And Alan, if you want to finish this off.
Oh gosh. Young ladies must never vex others. Where's that? Oh, there it is.
Oh, I've realised I've been writing all this down in the wrong copy of the Character Keeper. So hopefully, I have a record of it here, but I will just double check in with the one that you've got to make sure that everything that I have filled in is also filled in there.
I think it's only home life that we're missing, David.
Cool. Yeah, I will just put in some notes that I've taken there. Brilliant. Cool. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I will just paste in the notes that I've taken. Brilliant. Yep. So, and just to explain sort of these before we sort of get into the game proper. As I said, these are all the things that are the manners that the girl is expected to behave. One of the moves in this game, one of the core moves, in fact, is called "Refuse to Mind Your Manners," and that is basically activated when Faye steps up to take an action that contravenes one of her manners. when that happens, you will check that little box next to the manor, which will strike it through, and in the box underneath you will write down a new belief, which should be something both kind of related to the manor that she's broken and something that she's learnt about herself or the world around her by breaking that manor. And sort of through this process we'll slowly build up a list of new beliefs that kind of guide what is core to our girl. Where we will begin, we will, I think what we'll do is, I will do the sort of the introductory scene of wherein Faye discovers this portal to the new land, and ventures into it, and then we will we'll then take a bit of a break. As well, during that break, if you wish, you can start looking at the companion playbooks and deciding which ones you might like to play once we meet them in the strange new world. But yes, so to start us off, it's a summer's day in the town that Faye lives in. It's one of those days where it's warm and still, and maybe there will be a storm later. It's got that kind of feeling of electricity in the air. It's a Saturday morning. So what we'll probably do here is we'll kind of describe this in brushstrokes mostly. So I'll be asking you for sort of input into this, but I'll start off by saying, Peter, what is on this Saturday morning? What is Faye supposed to be doing?
I think that it is supposed to be quiet time, and she is supposed to be reading. As for what, that's sort of usually left up to her, which is where the trouble gets in.
Okay, so we're in Faye's house, and we can hear that ever-present sound of a ticking clock echoing off the hardwood floors. And we sort of go down and we see in through the doorway of the library. It's possibly a bit grand a name for this room. It's but there are shelves of books in here, and a little chaise longue, and a desk and a chair next to it, a writing desk and a chair. Ludo, do we see Faye in the library?
We see an oblong chair, and after we follow with our eyes that chair, we see Faye balancing on the top of the chair as she swings back and forth, just trying to stretch the books on the top shelf that their parents put right there, because she keeps trying to read them, and they are not books proper for a young lady.
Excellent. Alan, what do you think is the book that she's trying to get her hands on as we speak?
I think it's the collected editions of a magazine called Practical Mechanics.
Yes. It's one of those, like, I don't want to say like leather bound, but it's kind of almost like a binder of back issues of this magazine. It's the cover on it is actually fairly pristine. It doesn't look like it's been used much, but Faye reaches up and just manages to get her fingers onto the spine of the book, and she gets her hand on it and starts to pull it out when the chair below her swings down and collapses to the floor with a clatter that reverberates, breaking the stillness of the house. She falls to the ground and maybe scabs her knee a little bit as she does. But the book lands with a thud next to her. Peter, what does she do next?
Oh, goodness. So I think, she tries to carefully put things back in their original state, despite the fact that it's been a fairly loud noise and everything's a little bit okay. Sorry, dog started barking. So, goodness, sorry, my mind is. What does happen?
No worries. We can ask.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of got that initial reaction where she's kind of putting everything back. There's probably a call from the kitchen. Faye, dear, what was that noise? Is everything okay in there? As her mother calls from the kitchen where she's currently making jam. I will. I'm going to mix things up a bit. Alan, what do you think Faye does next?
The bottom of the shelves are cupboards, and I think we hear the tick 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 of her mother's high-heeled shoes on the hardwood floor, and she knows she's going to get caught, so she opens the cupboard and squeezes herself and the book inside the cupboard.
It does look awfully dark in there. Are you sure that's an appropriate place to be?
I'm just, young lady, she should never go into dark places. Yeah, she knows her mother will be horrified, but she'll be more horrified when she comes in and finds her with that book and the chair knocked over.
Okay, so Faye squeezes herself into the little cupboard, sort of pulls the door back behind her, and there's still, just because it's not really designed to be closed from the inside, there's still just that very faint sliver of light through the doorway. And what we will do here is, because this is how sort of I meant to mention that actually at the top, but I didn't. So apologies. But yes, basically the way that the transition to the world happens is when the girl breaks her first mana, which she has done here. So if you would like to mark off young ladies must never go into dark places. And in the box below, if you want to write a new belief that you think that she's learnt as a result of about something about herself or something about the world, and then once we've done that, we will. No, in fact, I think she will get into the cupboard, and you'll see that there's a kind of that very faint light coming through the cupboard, through the crack in the cupboard door. So I'm just fiddling with my mic. But as she's in, the quality of the light changes and it becomes actually brighter. It's not like the cupboard has opened any further, but the light coming from it is brighter and warmer. Ludo, I'll go back to you. When Faye pushes the cupboard door open, there is bright sunlight streaming in, and she is not where she was before. What is the very first thing she sees when she realizes she's in another world?
She sees a chair, but the first thing that it captures her attention is that the chair is upside down, and it's massive. It's a massive upturned chair, and there is moss growing on it, and underneath it, it seems to be serving as shelter for something.
Perfect. And that's where we will leave the first part of our game. So yeah, what we'll do now is we'll take about a 10-minute break here. If you want to start, once you've had a break, if you want to start looking through the companion playbooks and thinking about which one you might like to play or which ones you might like to play, when we get back, we'll have a little discussion about that. And then we will continue exploring our new world. Yeah. So I said, the next thing we'll do is we will choose companions. So each one of you will choose a different companion to play, who will be introduced into the story in a short while. I'll just give a very brief overview of the six companions. We have the beastie. So the beastie is they are an animal. They are able to speak, but otherwise they are physically, a cat or a horse or whatever else. They tend to be. They tend to deal with authority a lot, whether that is asserting their own authority or disrespecting the authority of others. The thing I'll also point out with these playbooks is you'll see that they have a number of moves. Each companion has a number of moves. You start and play with all of these, unlike a lot of other PBTA games, just because it is designed to be played as a one shot essentially, so all of the moves are available at all times. So the next companion is the construct. So this is your sort of your kind of Tin Man Scarecrow type figure, something that should not normally be alive but is. And they kind of focuses a lot on what it means to be a real person and sort of what people desire, that sort of thing. So the fawn is the next one. The fawn is part human and part something else. Maybe sort of a classic like a centaur, or a mermaid or something like that, or possibly part elemental, some sort of elemental being. And they do a lot of stuff around transformation and also with a kind of fun-loving streak. The mythic is a basically a mythical creature who would normally be able to fly, but currently cannot for some reason or other. You are also explicitly the last of your kind. You have a lot of power, but also part of your power comes from sacrifice. The ogre is a large creature, much bigger than most of the other people that inhabit the world. Whether they are sort of largely humanoid or a stranger looking is sort of up to your perspective, and they kind of deal with this like tension between sort of taking up between like being powerful and taking up too much space and being kind of clumsy and a center of attention, that sort of thing. And finally, the runaway is another child who has escaped to this world, but has been here a lot longer than the girl, though is still a child. They are sort of essentially used to dealing with this world and dealing with the dangers and the excitement of being in this world, but they are also running away from something in their own history. So those are the companions that are available. So again, just to remind, the way this sort of works is that from this point onwards, in any given scene, one player will take on the role of the girl, and the other two players will play their respective companions in the scene. The girl has a mechanism whereby if at some point either they feel like they've had enough time being the girl and want to sort of move the spotlight around, or if they want to sort of introduce their companion into the scene, then the person playing the girl can pass the role of the girl onto another player, who then takes on the mantle, and the player who passes it on goes back to playing their companion. So, with all that said, does anyone have any preferences at this moment for which companion they'd like to be?
I'm inclined to the runaway and the fawn.
Nice.
I was also inclined towards the fawn, but I will also say that the beastie also interests me.
Nice.
I'm quite interested in the construct.
Cool. Well, Alan, if you want to claim the construct as no one else has shown interest in that. So yeah, I guess Peter, do you? Yeah,
I prefer the runaway, so there is no problem.
Yep, sure thing. Cool.
Thank you.
Yep.
I
So
will claim the fawn.
brilliant. So if you want to have a quick look through the playbooks there, and they'll give you again. There's a few choices to make. The most of these are cosmetic for these cases. I'm just going to hide the ones we're not using just for clarity. Oh, I've done it in the wrong character keeper again because I keep doing that. Excellent. So, excellent. Yeah. So, it looks like people have mostly made decisions about their characters. So, I will ask people to give a very brief introduction to the characters now. So, we'll introduce them properly in a moment. So, starting with the construct. So, Alan, if you'd like to just give us a brief overview of our construct.
Our construct is Vroom, and Vroom is made out of metal, and bears a striking resemblance to Faye's homemade car, with headlights, but they are remarkably expressive headlights, he's kind of folded in on himself. He's got lots of extra parts that it's not entirely clear what they're for. Sorry, I'm giving you almost everything that's on the character sheet, David. Is that all right?
No, that's fine for me. No, that's brilliant. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, so we'll introduce fully when each of them is met in game, but just give us a brief overview for the time being. So next we will see our fawn. So Peter.
Mm-hmm. So our fawn today is Nyx. They're constructed from fire, so that's a slightly different fawn than I was originally imagining, but I saw the material and jumped for it. They're always finding hard to resist a chance to show off, and they wish they could transform into a majestic beast, but, it's really hard when half of you is constantly fiery. It's just not really easy to deal with. And, hopefully this will be a fun time to party and celebrate and have a good time.
Brilliant, thank you. And finally, our runaway, Ludo.
So I'm playing the runaway, Amelia, and she ran away escaping the truth about herself, and she has been wandering the underground for a long time, and it has twisted her reflection into the very same thing that she is running away from. So she has a strong aversion to mirrors or other reflective surfaces. And this has pretty much limited her, and she ended up trapped in an island, and where it seems that whenever she tries to escape, she has to see herself. And she got stuck there on her way to explore the darkest cave on the underground, because she wants to brag that she did it.
Excellent. Those all sound fun. So, I guess my first question, well, not my first question, I've asked many questions, but my first question I'm about to ask, who is interested in starting off playing Faye as she emerges from the portal into the new world? Or if you want, I can just pick someone. In which case, I will. I will say I'll go through it now. We have in order of the characters in the Keeper. So, Alan, would you like to start off playing Faye?
That's fine.
Cool. Okay. So, Faye, you emerge from. Well, you kind of. As you kind of come out of what was previously a small cupboard. You turn back, and you see you're you're in a lightly wooded area. It's not like a dense, kind of Black Forest type setup. It's just some like woodlands, and there is you see a tree behind you with a large like knot hole in it. In fact, and it's kind of one of those ones where it's got like a bit of a hole in it. It kind of looks like you might have crawled from there maybe, but it's clearly too small for you to actually fit through. Said it's warm, it's sunny, the light's dappling in through the canopy of the trees above you, pooling in shifting shadows on the floor. And yes, you see before you this large chair, bigger than you might expect for a human to be sat in, and covered with moss. It looks like it's been here for some time, and there's kind of it's in the middle of this like clearing. But what you will notice as well, slightly more prosaic perhaps than this giant chair, is there's a very neat, very straight tarmac road cutting through the clearing, and in fact it's not even so it's like straight and flat and even, looks quite new. But where it like passes through the woods, it's not even like trees have been felled to let this road through, but the trees just kind of stop like partway through, so it looks almost like they've been cut vertically rather than horizontally around the edge of this road. So what do you do?
I think that I run to the edge of the road and I look up and down the road, trying to see what I can see. Is it a long straight road? Does it disappear into the distance?
Yep, it's a long straight road. You can see it. You see a.
No, that's outside my house.
No worries. So there's the road. Yes, it disappears quite far into the distance on either side. You see in the you see towards one end, you see it actually looks like the road goes into a bridge. It looks like it actually looks like kind of a suspension bridge type thing. Again, one of those ones where the actual road itself just continues on straight, but it has like kind of the big framework around it. The other way, it looks like the forest maybe gets a little denser towards that side, though the road continues to cut through it in a straight line.
Then I think I will head towards the bridge, walking along the road. Is that a white line?
There is, yep. Very, very straight, very neat white line down the middle of the road.
But no sign of any traffic?
Not that you can see at the minute, no. There's definitely not any heavy traffic passing through, and you don't notice any signs of like oncoming cars either direction.
Oh, well, it's clearly a deserted road, so I'm going to walk down the white line.
Yep. Brilliant. So you carry on, and there are butterflies flitting about the road. They're much larger than you might expect, very brightly coloured, and they just seem to be fluttering in the around the bushes and the trees at either side of the road. And as you walk further along the road, you will begin to you'll see, as I said, you see this bridge up ahead. It's quite quite well. It's not that big. In fact, it's possibly the actual suspension apparatus is perhaps a bit ostentatious for the actual size of the river it crosses. It's kind of that, like the sort of, it has the like cables, but the actual apparatus is probably taller than it is wide, and it's in the metalwork and in the cable work suspending the bridge. It's actually been sort of almost like woven into the shape of not exactly a face, but a face-like shape, more like a mask or a representation of a face rather than specifically an image of somebody.
Well, I've read about suspension bridges in the last volume of Practical Mechanics that I managed to get off the top shelf, and this looks very odd indeed.
It certainly does.
And I'm thinking to myself, why would you have all that ostentation? Suspension bridges are really simple. You don't need all this. You don't need the towers to be that high. You don't need all this braided work.
Yeah, definitely. It's
and I'm inclined to go up to it and investigate it, because this is just a stupid way to build a bridge.
Yeah, certainly. So, you get closer to the bridge, and it seems to be the construction of the framework. It seems to all be in steel, steel girders, and there is said these tight hawsers are sort of suspending it all, and there is there appears to there's a small figure. It appears to be well, it looks more than anything like a weasel in overalls and a little peaked cap.
I think that this probably pushes Faye over the edge in the sense that, hang on, so I was in the library, and it's finally caught up on her, the idea that this is hang on, and so she stops. It's the weasel. It's the hat. It's the hat. If it was just a weasel, that would be fine. But weasels shouldn't wear hats. So where is this place? And so I think I'll march up to the weasel and say, could you take the hat off? It's really disturbing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Missy. I can't be doing that. It's part of the uniform, part of the regulations. Got to be wearing the hat whilst I'm attending to my duties. You notice that he's got a rag of some sort in his hand, and he appears to be polishing some of the ironwork of the bridge.
Oh, okay. So you can't take the hat off?
No, I'm afraid not. Afraid not. As I said, it's regulations. Got to wear the hat.
Well then, okay. Can you tell me why is this bridge so over-engineered?
Well, I'm afraid I don't really have time to be standing around and answering your questions. But well, look. Tell you what. If you give me a hand, just polishing this bridge up nice, so to keep the rust off. Then maybe I can see my way to answering a few of your questions. So there's a move in the game for the girl called Curiouser and Curiouser. So when you're trying to find some answers about the world or its inhabitants, basically you can, if you're willing to participate in a peculiar activity, then the answer you receive will be clear and helpful. If you're not willing to participate in an activity, then the answer will take the form of a riddle.
Oh, all right then.
Do
I get a rag of my own?
Yep, he reaches into his. He's got like a little metal toolbox down next to him. He reaches inside and pulls out another sort of polishing cloth, which he hands over to you, and he also hands over a spare hat, which doesn't look like it's quite fitted for you, but
yes, I think we see Faye looks at the hat, which is clearly too small. It's a weasel-sized hat, and then he looks at her as if to say, "Well, put it on then." And she does, and as she puts it on her head, it gets bigger to fit her head. And then she looks at what he's doing and starts polishing, asking all the while, "So how much do I need to polish?"
Well, just enough to make sure that there's no rust started on it. We've got to keep this thing pristine condition. It's very important that it's all ship shape and Bristol fashion and all that.
So where is this place then?
Well, this is the bridge over the Reckless River. He points down at the river below, which, despite the name, actually seems to be very, very slow moving and placid, but not that kind of slow moving river that kind of gets very silty and gritty. It looks very clean and clear. It doesn't actually look very deep even now that you look down on it, but it does kind of reflect the light up at you. And says, they put in the new bridge a little while back, all part of the new, this whole new road through here. So obviously we've got to keep the bridge maintained and working in optimum fashion.
Okay. At that point, I'd like to merry-go-round, please, and pass the playbook.
I'd actually like to hang on for a moment longer, if that's okay, because I think you will, as you're looking down at the river, you will notice a figure on an island in the stream, Ludo. This island is the island that Amelia is currently trapped on. What does Faye see of Amelia?
So Amelia seems to be wearing some shorts and has made kind of a hat from what is clearly the torn remains of a dress, and is covering herself with a cloak shirt made of leaves and sticks glued together. And she is very dirty, very, very dirty, and very, very muddy.
Yeah, so Faye, you are confronted with the sight of another girl, probably of a similar age to you, I would imagine. She seems to be on the middle of this island in the stream below. It's not far down to the stream. Again, I should point out it's only probably a little more than a few feet down the embankment, and the there's this small island that the river splits around. So yeah, what do you do?
Hello? Hello? Excuse me?
So Amelia turns up and seeing Faye, her initial reaction is to think that it's also her reflection and now it can talk. And she feels that this place is getting really tricky to her in the ways that it torments her. And she tries to escape herself and hide from the girl.
And I think
But she's stuck on an island. There's probably not much where to hide.
so I think we see this kind of bizarre scene where Amelia is maybe hiding behind a plant, and then momentarily Faye disappears behind a girder to look around the other side of the girder to see if she can still see Amelia. And then Amelia looks up and thinks, "Oh, she's hiding behind the girder," and comes out. And then Faye reappears, and this kind of this impromptu game of hide and seek ensues. And can you just stop moving, please?
Can you just go away?
Why? I've just got here.
Well, then it's easier for you to go away. Shoo.
Well,
Leave me alone.
But I can you not come up here?
Do you think I would be here stuck if I could? You're a very daunting reflection.
Reflection? I don't understand. My name's Faye.
Huh. My name is Amelia.
Hello, Amelia. How do you do?
Poorly. I'm stuck in an island.
What? But it's only a few feet. You can jump from there practically onto the bank.
Not with my eyes closed.
Why would you close your eyes, Amelia?
Because I don't want to look into the water. Why would it be?
Oh, I see. Well, look. Let me think. I've got a handkerchief. Why don't I come down to the bank and you can tie my handkerchief around your eyes and then I could help you across?
That sounds like a plan. You're
So-
a very helpful reflection.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a moment, Amelia. So I go across the bridge. I say to the weasel, I'm terribly sorry. There appears to be somebody trapped on the island. Would you excuse me a moment? And I head across the bridge to the far side, down to the bank, and then I let me think. I probably wrap the handkerchief around a pebble and throw it onto the island, so Amelia can get close to the water. And then I can reach across and help her jump from the island.
Sorry. Yeah, no, that sounds good.
I have no idea if that triggers a move.
No, that won't. I don't think that just sounds like something you're doing, which that it's nothing's particular challenge there. So yes, you can help. You can help Amelia off of the island without too much hassle.
That was such cleverness. You have earned yourself the right to join on my expedition.
Expedition? Where are you going?
Why, to the darkest of caves, where they say that there lives a terrifying dragon. And I'm going there. Well, I was going there. I have no idea how long I was stuck on that island. I'm starving.
Isn't that the sort of thing that boys do?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, my mother says that I should do things that girls do, not what boys do. And confronting dragons in
Well,
dark caves just strike me as kind of the thing that in books boys do.
and why do you have a problem with me doing it?
Well, we're both girls.
Well, apparently not, because if being a girl means I don't go into a cave with hypothetical dragons, I'll rather not be a girl at all. Why cannot I just be myself?
Well, I hadn't thought of it like that. Okay, I'll come on your expedition. Where do we go?
Good. I don't remember this bridge being there. How long was I here there below?
I'm afraid I don't know. I've just arrived. We could ask the weasel.
Yeah, the whistles are always very helpful, but you always must understand that they depend on bigger and more feral creatures. They are stuck in a world that makes no sense because it's imposed on them, and one must always be respectful of those that find just as contained as you are.
Gosh, that's terribly wise.
It's just common sense.
Yeah, I think the weasel will say, well, it's the new road, isn't it? It's new. I think it was sometime last week they put it through here.
So, Mr. Weasel, who told you to oversee these roads?
Oh well, I got my orders, didn't I?
Yeah, but from whom?
Oh, from my boss.
And your boss got from their boss, I figure.
That's it. That's how it usually works.
Now, would you rather not, I don't know, go out for a swim or go for tea or something else rather than being stuck with this helmet overseeing this bridge to nowhere?
Well, yeah, but I've got to stay until the end of my shift, don't I?
That makes sense. Unless someone took over your shift.
Well, I don't know about that. I think I've be all manner of trouble if my boss came in for a surprise inspection. I weren't here doing my job.
Oh, surprise inspection. That sounds really delightful. So, do those surprise inspections happen very often?
Well, I don't know really, because I guess they're a surprise, aren't they?
Well, but there's the difference between a surprise that happens often and one that never happens. Like surprise birthdays. Every birthday will come, and you only have until the end of the day to discover if it's a surprise or not.
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong there.
Can you tell us, Mr. Weasel, where the darkest cave is?
Well, the darkest cave's probably in the Whispering Wood. That's where they keep most of the darkest stuff.
Amelia, do you know where the Whispering Wood is?
I suppose I once knew, but this changed so much. Other parts might have changed as well. That's the way of this land. We should find someone that is from the Whispering Woods and ask them. Come along. What are you waiting for, Faye? Let's go into the woods. Or as
Very
close
good.
as possible from them.
Should we leave the road or stick to the road?
let's just ignore the road. I mean, roads and woods don't mix well together.
Well, I don't know. I mean, roads go somewhere. We just wander around in the woods. But okay, let's go. Now, young ladies must always look before they leap. Has Faye just leapt?
Probably not yet. I don't think it's quite. I mean, she's. More importantly, she's not really trying to overcome anything at the minute. So yeah, it wouldn't really trigger the breaking a manners thing. But no, that's fine. Cool. So yeah, I think. Yeah, he was saying. I think maybe now, Alan, if you would pass the girl on to Peter.
Very happy to.
Yeah. Because sorry, I did interrupt you there because I wanted to get to that point, but so Faye and Amelia are walking along a through a little some of the like forested area. Around here, I think as you're continuing to walk, you get into sort of an area where there's it looks like fields with sort of thick hedgerows around them. The fields seem to be they seem to mostly just be growing flowers in them, of all sorts of bright colours. What is Faye's favourite colour?
Blue.
Yeah, there's some bright blue flowers that look almost like sunflowers but blue. They've got that kind of big tall and wide flowers at the top of a long stem, and they were sort of waving gently in the breeze, and as but you will notice, most of these fields around are I said they're sort of in full bloom with these flowers. Though you do notice that some of the fields around here do seem to have been recently ploughed in nice, straight, meticulous lines, and they just appear to have bare earth in them, which is perhaps a little unusual considering it appears certainly by temperature and the like to be the height of summer, but I think the in those fields that have been plowed, I said they're just empty. But again, in these flower fields, you'll see again more of the butterflies that have been around before. You don't see any. Haven't yet come across any obvious signs of where the Whispering Wood might be, but what do you think your next course of action is going to be?
Well, I think Faye kind of rubs her chin a bit and then kind of says, well, if it's a whispering wood that we're looking for, maybe we have to be really, really quiet in order to hear where it might be. Because maybe it's actually whispering.
Oh, indeed. I knew that I did the right decision making you my lieutenant. Really smart one.
Thank you. Yes, we'll talk about that course of action later. I I think I think as Faye continues moving on, she tries to make her steps as quiet as possible. Tries to lower her own voice to a whisper, and just kind of tries to look not with just her eyes but with her ears, which I think she kind of ponders a little bit the concept of looking with one's ears, uh, and then realizes, wait, that's listening, but is she listening or looking?
If you go through the grass between the flowers, which you have the morning dew, it will slow down your steps, but also pet them. And Amelia shows how to do it, but it does not last long. She seems more and more impressed by the large carpets of blue flowers, and without telling anything, she dives underneath some of them and she goes laughing, growling between the flowers as she is looking for whatever is the secret of these blue fields.
Brilliant. Okay, so the first thing that you will notice, um, um, sorry, Faye, is when you're being really, really quiet and still, you can hear. So you can see a. Yeah, you can hear. Sorry, I should say. You can see with your ears this very, very faint, very, very subtle, but you can hear the sound of. It does actually sound like a ticking clock. It's difficult to place because it is one of those odd sounds that's kind of a bit directionless. But you can. It seems to be coming not so much from. So in like the fields that you're kind of walking through, you can hear that kind of summery sound of bees buzzing and birds chirping and all the usual sounds you'd expect from a sort of countryside setting. But the ticking seems to be coming from the fields that have been ploughed. So that's sort of going on there. But yes, did you say you wanted to roll a move, Ludo? I should point out for this, for the majority, they're rolled like general moves in PBTA games. So you're rolling 2d6, looking for 7-ups for a hit. Though for most of the companion moves, you'll never add anything to it, so it will just be a straight dice roll. Some of the moves for the girl will add a number depending on situation, but yeah.
So I got an 8. So okay. Establish what I find and how you discover it. So I find something that buried underneath the carpets of the car, and it seems to be something shiny and metallic, with one wheel popping out. And Amelia shouts in delight at finding something so shiny. And as she tries to claim this treasure by pulling out of the mud, she just tries to pull and oh, it's stuck. Faye, can you help me?
Excuse me, do you know that hurts rather?
Oh, 1,000 pardons. I was not aware that you intended to be stuck here.
I think Faye had instinctively leaned down to help Amelia up, and then just kind of froze and was like, "That wasn't your voice."
Come, dive under the flowers. Come see what I found.
And I think Faye will do just that. Just kind of like dive under and kind of huddle up next to Amelia.
Hello, ladies. I wonder if you could at all help me. I appear to be somewhat stuck.
What happened here?
I think there was a sudden blooming of flowers, and I find myself up to my hubcaps in growth.
Well, that's not normal.
No, and I can stress, madam, that it's neither fun nor normal.
Can you move your wheels?
Bear with me a moment. And there's a kind of... it appears not, madam. Of course, if I could move my wheels, I would not be stuck here.
True, but it could maybe help. Maybe we need to clean it up. And Amelia starts tapping on the hood of the car, trying to get dust to fall off.
I think Faye will kind of roll up her sleeves, and I think I'd like to refuse to mind my manners in the young ladies must never act like boys. She's gonna get down and dirty and try and help clean them off.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think you can kind of get down into the. So yeah, you'll find that there are like roots and creepers growing through the undercarriage of Vroom, and that are kind of anchoring them down to the ground, and they're kind of partially submerged in the dark soil, and it's that quality of soil. It looks like something that's come from a garden centre almost. It's rich and dark and quite loose, but So if you would like to roll, this is just a straight up 2d6 again.
All right, that's an 11.
That's an 11. Perfect. So yes, how do you overcome the challenge? What does this look like?
So I think when Faye realizes like all of the things that are kind of trapping Vroom there, rather than just try and pull him out with physical strength, she tries to clear as much of the roots and kind of the crawly things and everything like that away, and actually starts like kind of getting her hands in like the dirt and stuff to kind of like actually make more room. So like there's some dirt that actually gets under her nails and stuff, and as she does so, she clears as much space as she can, and then like before it all starts coming like kind of caving back in, she just tries like kind of giving a few quick pulls, kind of sharp and tugging.
Perfect. Yeah, she and you managed to get the room out of the thing, and if you would like to again check off the mana and write in a new belief that you think you've learnt from this experience. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a direct opposite to the manner, but it just has to be in some way related to it, and in some way related to what you have learnt about yourself or the world.
Okay.
And yeah, Vroom, if in the meantime, if you'd like to introduce yourself once you've been essentially pulled out of a small shrubbery.
Yes, Vroom is big enough to carry Amelia and Faye, I think. So it's Vroom is not a toy car. Vroom is if anything slightly bigger than the car that we know Faye has made back in the real world. He's made out of metal, or they're made out of metal. I will get those pronouns wrong. They're made out of metal, which is rather rusty now, I think, because Vroom has been trapped in this growth for some time. The most expressive thing about Vroom are his headlamps, which display a degree of flexibility and expression that makes those the most human part of him. It's clear that Vroom has had a variety of bits and pieces bolted onto him over the years. So as well as the passenger seats, there's a variety of other stuff of, at this point, unclear purpose. And yeah, I think that his first reaction will be to look at Faye with those big eyes and say, "Madam, I am absolutely at your service."
Well, that is certainly appreciated. I was only trying to help someone that looked like they needed it.
And that is terribly kind of you, madam. And I was searching for my creator, but I think now perhaps I should put that aside and repay you for your generous help by taking you wherever you want to go.
Your creator? Funny, I never seen someone like you here.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're one of a kind, are you not?
I believe I am indeed unique. But there's a lot more like me about, you know. You mustn't get confused with the idea that just because you've got 2 arms and 2 legs, you're not that you're the only people. I'm people.
Oh.
You're definitely people.
I never thought of it like that.
So where do you want to go?
Well, we're looking for the Whispering Woods.
We could ask someone the way.
Well, that's what we thought of, and we found you. We can also ask someone else, I'm sure.
Come along.
Know someone else.
Well, let's just ask the hedge.
The hedge?
Yes, the hedge. Hedges go places. They'll know.
Oh my.
And I think I'm triggering a spirit in everything.
Certainly.
Roll when you try to converse with something normally inanimate. So, reroll selected. Oh, that is a 3. On a 6.
Ooh.
It talks to the girl instead. Excuse me, Hedge, I say. Could I ask a question, please?
And I think as you're doing that, another part of the hedgerow from behind will lean in behind Faye and say, You want to be careful hanging around with the likes of that one there, Missy. Can't be trusting nothing mechanical. You can't. They always come in and start messing up with the land and destroying all the flowers and scaring off all the sparrows and such.
Well, I beg your pardon, and I'm sorry that that's happened. However, the Vroom was asking a question, and I personally would like it answered.
Well, I don't know about the Whispering Woods myself. I'm more a I'm a more deal with your rural pastoral scenes like this, but I do hear there's been some of your type been setting up shop round here recently. They've been travelling far and wide, so they have. The Edgehugs have been telling me all about it, so they have. Just up the roadie under there, and kind of the hedgerow will kind of ripple, showing off a vague direction along this sort of little cart track that leads further along.
Well, thank you for what help you could offer. It is much appreciated, and I think leading the way unintentionally or intentionally, she'll start kind of wandering in that direction. She'll take a few steps and I think look back and go, "Well, come on,
hop in, miss."
Oh, yes. Yes. I don't know. I assumed yes.
And as we drive away up this cart track, the radio grill, it just kind of whispers, "They're very stupid and a little bit snooty, Hedges. You be careful, miss."
Thank you, I will.
Brilliant. Okay, we will take another quick break there, probably about 5 minutes or so. Then we will introduce our final companion and carry on with our adventures. I should say as well at this point, Peter, if you want to pass off the girl playbook to one of the others.
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and pass Faye off to Ludo.
Perfect. So yes, you are driving down the this little cart track. You come up over just a small hill, not big, just a brief rise in the land, and as you come down the other side, you will see several large, brightly coloured tents clustered around the side of this little path. There appears to be a lot of activity around these tents. It looks like a circus or other similar travelling show is taking place. So I think actually I'm just going to straight up ask what I'm blanking on names again. Sorry. What our fawn is? How our fawn is when we find them.
Right. Yes. So I'd chosen exhausted from revelries, and so there's the traveling circus, and I think you've got you've kind of got like a slight crackling sound coming from one of the tents, and then it just kind of like almost seems to like the sound seems to move back and forth before you see the form of what looks to be a young man from the top half, but like the bottom half is sort of like a genie if the genie's bottom half was on fire. And so he's just kind of very he's been drinking a lot. He's been drinking so much and just kind of woo that and they said I couldn't party for a week. Well, they didn't know how long a week was, and apparently now they do. Excuse me, and I think he'll wander over to where the others have come upon, and he just goes, "How long is a week?"
Well, a week is 7 days, don't you know? What is a week different here?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are you certain, Miss, that this is the sort of person you should be talking to?
Nix just starts laughing and goes, your traveling companion can talk. That's
Well, I beg your pardon, sir, but you're being unusually rude.
Oh, my deepest, most sorrowful and over the top and grandiose and everything apologies. I did not mean to offend or defend or refund or anything. No refunds.
Well, what do you say to that, Vroom?
Miss, I think I'm just checking. Ludo, are you currently Faye?
Yes.
Yes, fine. Miss, this gentleman, I don't think this gentleman has anything to tell us. I mean, he doesn't know which day of the week it is.
Well,
But it is
upon the most unexpected places. I mean, we found you under a carpet of flowers. This person at least deserves our respect. If they are respectful to us.
If you think it's best, Miss, of course, of course.
And I think that Nix, in the intervening time that they've been having this conversation, when you look back, Nix is looking upside down through like the fire where like his bottom half is sort of parted, and he's like looking between it, and he goes, besides, respect is sometimes the quickest way to inspect your defects.
I see. I had not thought of things that way. Politely says.
Yes, well, that is why I'm here and not there, wherever there is. And the important thing is, I know that it is a day of the week because you said that is how long a week is. 7 days. It must be one of those 7.
But it's always a day of the week. There's no such thing as days outside of the week.
That's true. But then, you always hear days of the week and not days of the strong, or days of the sleepy, or days of... I think I understand that you are not making sense. But the point is, if you are not making sense, what are you making?
Well, definitely a lot of noise.
Noise.
Vroom, go.
Please.
Well, Vroom would like to stare at someone to figure them out, because this is a bizarre creature. So roll 2d6. Oh, 11. 11. So on 7 plus, ask them, what do I think? What is your heart's desire, Nix?
Well, I think my heart's desire is to simply be able to make sense of myself and be one thing, because I think a lot of what one might call madness that's kind of going on is between like too much drinking and madness, and I think a lot of that is just because parts of me don't feel like they should be attached to other parts of me, and I am confused why that is. And so I try and cover that up by having no filter between what goes on in here and what comes out here. So I just kind of think and then I speak. Or no, I don't think, I speak.
And so the radio grill whispers, this gentleman appears to have to be getting drunk for no good reason. And you're a very, very clever young woman, miss. And so perhaps you can help sort him out the way you helped sort me out.
Well, there's usually always a good reason to getting drunk, and it's usually alcohol. But the question is why one gets drunk. Usually it's because they are trying to hide a lie, and it's easier when the world makes no sense outside and inside.
That is certainly a different way of looking at it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Tell me, what is your name?
They call me Nix because Nix is my name. So it does usually help for one's name to be what people call them.
So, Nix, we are going into the Whistling Woods.
Ooh.
Perhaps on the way you can find yourself. You certainly are not going to find yourself at the end of a bottle.
Well, I haven't tried every end of the bottle, but I suppose your idea is also worth considering.
Well, do you know where the Whistling Woods are?
Let me think. I know that if you walk in a certain direction, you're liable to end up in a different place. And if this place is not what you're looking for, then perhaps I might accompany you in the sense that we might together find that new place. I think. I think.
Well, that's a good way to say that you don't know, but that is no problem. Unless someone else has any issues with this, I think it's fine if you join with us. However, I have a demand. You are not touching any more of that alcohol while with us, because you might endanger yourself and us if you do so. Please be mindful.
I will make.
If you want
that. Well, if you insist, I will save the celebration until we reach wherever we're supposed to reach. And in the meantime, I will do my best to keep our spirits pleasant before I down my own spirits.
That is good. We always need someone to share us on the road.
Yes, well, as time goes on, you also need someone to make things bright, and Well, I may not be the smartest, but I'm definitely the brightest. Just kind of shows off a little of the flames.
I wish everyone had such fire in them.
Oh, and he just kind of laughs and goes, I like you. You say it like it is. Most people say it like it isn't.
Miss, would it be at all possible for the gentleman to stand in the flat bed at the back? I'm just slightly concerned about my upholstery.
Well, we definitely will not want to cause you discomfort, Vroom. You have been so helpful so far.
If
I
you'd
think-
like me to be there, that is absolutely fine.
If that will not be too much of an imposition.
Oh, no. I mean, I can hang in the back. I can hang from the side. I can hang upside down. That last one lets the blood rush to my head a bit. I don't recommend it for more than a week.
Excellent. So, as you're around in the area of the circus, you will see some of the performers walking around, sort of doing bits of shows to entertain the people passing by, and bring them into the show. I'm going to ask each one of you, what is which performer or performance do you see as you're sort of around the circus that is strange even for this place? So I will start. I'll start at the top again. So I'll start with Ludo.
So we see birds carrying arrows, and the birds dive, and as they are about to hit the ground, they shoot an arrow, and somehow the act of shooting the arrow throws the birds flying in the opposite direction.
Excellent. Yeah, that definitely sounds like physics of some sort. Perfect. And Alan.
I think that the big top, there is an elephant in a red coat and a top hat, who is displaying a number of people balancing on one leg, and balancing balls on their noses.
Excellent. And Peter.
I think that there is an otter-looking creature. I say looking because rather than fur, it looks like it has scales of some kind, and it is rapidly spinning around in a circle, I think, kind of in one of the side attractions. And as it does, it seems to almost be spinning at such a rate that it's creating sort of an Ouroboros shape of like biting its own tail, but like the actual image it creates, it seems to be shifting across the scales and like using images to tell some kind of story.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think as you're all distracted by this, by the various shows going on, a woman dressed similarly to the elephant in the traditional top hat, though I think rather than wearing the no, I think she does have, but it's rather than being a tailcoat, it's like a a sort of what you call it, like a bomber jacket type thing, but also still in like red leather, and a pair of like big hefty work boots on, and she does have a riding crop in hand, and she comes up to you and says, "Well, good day to you, my fine fellows." And she sort of zeroes in on Faye and says, "Oh, you look new. I don't think I've seen you around before. Tell me, are you here to spectate, or are you here to join the circus?"
I think I'm gonna pass the girl. Merry-go-round. Gonna pass it to Alan.
Oh, thanks for that one. We have a term here for in the game of rugby called the hospital pass. Okay. Let me think. I'd rather. Is it possible to join the circus?
Oh, I went to join the circus. Amelia immediately runs.
Well, I'm sure we could find. I'm sure we could find a space for you. Obviously, we would need you to demonstrate some form of talent, something to liven up the days, bring in the punters, all that sort of thing.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm rather good at reading.
Oh, I'm very good with ropes and swinging. Back when I served with the cat pirates of the fish oil sea.
Ah, really? That's most intriguing, and that's definitely a move because I recognise that one. Are you?
He is big.
Yep. So yeah, roll when you meet someone important and tell them of your magnificent adventures. So yes, roll me 2d6, please, Ludo.
11.
Nice. So yes. So yes, you the ring mistress is very taken with your story of daring piratical adventures. What story does she tell you in return? Specifically about the circus, I think this one is.
Yeah, so she tells us about the last time that the circus was on the capital, and she tells us about the boss of bosses that kicked the circus out of the town and how they barely were able to escape before they unleashed their army of weasels on them.
Yes, it was. It's all these, the new roads coming in and all this. It kind of disrupts our traditional meanderings. It's all very efficient, I suppose, if you like that sort of thing. But it takes a little something out of the world, don't you think? But well, perhaps we can try you out on the trapeze, my young buccaneer. And she will turn her attention back to Faye, and say, "But yes, I'm afraid we don't really have much call for reading performances. I'm afraid, but surely there must be some other talent you have, something you can do that no one else can."
Well, I suppose my mother always said I should comb my hair. Perhaps I could comb my hair.
Have you ever tried growing a beard?
No. Is that something that I could do?
Of course you can do. You can make it.
I could help.
Let's make a beard. I want a beard too.
I think Nyx is kind of a little more together than previously. Apparently, very much able to come down from being drunk in a manner that's quicker than normal. And I would actually like to kind of reach out to Faye and go, I mean, growing a beard's as easy as just kind of leaning down, stroking your chin, and there it goes. And I think I would like to offer a bit of my shape-shifting magic to someone.
Excellent. That sounds like a fun thing. So yes, once again, I think that's just a roll of 2d6.
It is, yes. Okay. Oh, this is my first time rolling as Nyx. So let me just. Nyx got 6.
Perfect. So,
Ooh,
yes,
okay. So then I ask you, what form are you stuck in? I asked Faye.
I think Faye kind of does what Nyx has said and strokes her chin, and indeed, whiskers begin to curl out of her chin. But as the whiskers get longer, horns begin to twirl out of her forehead, and her hands begin to transform into cloven hooves, and Faye is transformed into a billy goat of some kind.
Oh, Faye, I knew you were delicious, but not that much.
Oh.
What's happened to me?
Brava! That is exactly the sort of thing we're looking for here.
And Nyx is just kind of rubbing his head, going, I should have maybe left a little more time between drinking and shifting.
I mean, Amelia's petting Faye. I really like you more like this.
I'm not certain I do. Help. And I think perhaps a crowd is beginning to gather as the elephant begins to go, roll up, roll up, roll up. All the fun of the fair. Come see the talking goat.
Yes. Well, yes. There's definitely we can definitely find a place for you if you'd like to join us now. We can get you a nice stall set up. Perhaps we could combine your talents, and you could, read stories to people.
All right.
The reading goat.
Ooh.
I'm not at all happy. And Faye begins to kind of stamp her cloven hooves and back up and down and charges the stall that the elephant ring mistress has guided her towards, and smashes into it, and it's smashed to pieces. I'm not at all happy with this. I want to be a little girl again.
Perfect. That sounds like you are. I'm just going to check the. I keep blanking on these. Yes.
I am
the young ladies must never
manner.
Yes, young ladies must never show anger. So yeah, if you'd like to roll 2d6.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I must use Faye's dice. Hang on. Yeah, otherwise I'll roll them all. Here's Faye. Reroll selected. That's a 5.
Oh. Okay, so what happens is Faye crashes into the stall, scattering wood and streamers everywhere. And as she does so, her head rings a little bit, and as she shakes, yet again, she has indeed turned back into her former self, and that's all fine. However, the ring mistress harumphs and says, "Well, I would have offered you quite good terms, really. All this. First, you said you wanted to join the circus, but you've clearly shown that you have no care or consideration for being part of it. So, no, go on, off with you all, on your way. I'm quite done with all of this, all of your unnecessary shenanigans."
Come on, everyone, hop into Vroom.
But yes, you do still get to write the mana is still crossed off, and you still get to write a new belief. Excellent.
I've gone for it's never wrong to be true to yourself.
Nice. I like that.
And sorry, just mechanically, these are the beliefs.
These are the beliefs.
Then
That's right.
Apply in stand strong in your convictions.
That's right. Yes. So the other option that you have is so yes, I will mention that move now. Stand strong in your conviction is when you face a challenge by standing strong in your convictions. Start with 1 die, then take an additional die for each relevant belief and roll. Add the 2 highest dice to get your result. So yes. Obviously, you have to. That it works in a similar way to refuse to mind your manners. In that it's about overcoming a challenge, but the difference is that you use the beliefs that you have, and the ones you can relate to that. So that's cool. So I think.
I'd quite like to hand the girl on, I think.
Certainly.
After that bit of
by
excitement.
all means. Yep.
I think I'd like to hand it to Peter.
Sounds good to me. I've been goaded enough as it is.
Yeah. And so you're expelled from the circus. But as you are driving away, you will actually notice a sign by the side of the road with a little placard and arrow on it, and it is in fact quite plainly labelled "The Darkest Cave." And it points. It actually looks like this. So you see, like this little old weaving, the old road seems to merge at this point with the new road, and the new road does actually seem to be heading in straight towards this where this sign is pointing. The sign doesn't look like it's necessarily associated with the new road, but it certainly seems to be pointing in the direction the new road is going.
Well, that's honestly rather convenient. Considering we just left someplace that wasn't where we needed to be, now we know where the direction we're supposed to go is.
Excuse me, miss. I just wonder, why does Miss Amelia want to find the darkest cave?
Well, you can ask myself.
Well, is that all right, miss?
Yes.
May I? Well, Miss Amelia, why is it that you want to find the darkest cave?
Well, because it's there and nobody goes there. So if I go there, that's a great story to tell. I went to the darkest to cave and I saw that there is no dragon there, that it's all an overgrown lizard. And I can tell everyone that I did it.
Well, it looks awfully dark in there, miss.
Well, then it's a good thing that we have someone who can actually keep things light. So the darkest cave may not be the darkest if we're in it.
Have no fear. This is fine. This is not as bad as it seems. People are just afraid because people are afraid of what they don't know.
Well, then the best way to get over that fear is then, if we don't know it, then let's go find it so we can know it.
That's what I've been saying. See, Vroom,
Oh,
I gets it.
Very well, miss. Onward into the darkest cave, then.
onward into the darkest cave.
Yeah, so you continue along the road, and it's actually getting a little. The sun is starting to set, and it's getting to that sort of twilight. You're passing through. So there's some more woodlands you're going through now. And it's similar again before the new road seems to just kind of cut through the trees like a ruler, and as you drive along, you will see up ahead some sparking and bright light emanating from up ahead, and there are a couple. You see, there's just sort of off the side of the new road, very close to it, but not quite on it, is a large rocky outcropping. But there seems to be a small work crew around this rocky outcropping, fastening some metal sheeting over it, and you can see kind of the light of welding torches as they seem to be sealing this off.
Looks like there's work going on ahead, miss.
Well, maybe we can help with the work and the work will be finished sooner.
Or I can find another path. I'm very good at finding whatever is happening around here.
That's true.
So which way should I go, miss?
Well, let's if there's work ahead, then let's see what work needs to be done. And if the work is too much, then we turn back and we find a different path.
Very good, miss.
Yeah. So as you approach the where the work is going on, you'll see several more Weasley figures in overalls. As I say, they're manoeuvring kind of it almost looks like a big manhole cover over what is unmistakably the entrance to a cave, and welding it into place. Riveting it into place, I suppose. Riveting, welding. All sorts of various metalworking is going on.
Interesting. I think I'll call out ahead, going, "Hello, is anyone there?"
Aye, Lassie, what can I do for you?
Looks like there's work needing to be done. Is there anything we can do to help the work?
Aye, we've got it all in hand, thank you, Lassie. We're just sealing up this here cave.
Oh, you're sealing it up.
Aye,
Well, why are you sealing it up?
aye. Well, it's supposed to be the darkest cave, is it not?
Yes.
Well, if we seal it up, then it'll definitely be the darkest.
But would it still be a cave then?
Well, I presume so, aye.
Well,
Why
I
are
don't
you
know.
doing a thing like that? I came all the way to find the cave, and you want to destroy it?
We're not destroying it, we're just stopping people from going in and taking light sources with them. He'll hold up a little, it looks like a piece of, carbon paper copy of some sort of work order, signed, not signed, but filled out in neat handwriting.
Well, that's unexpected.
Aye. Also, hopefully, it'll keep the dragon under control.
There's a dragon?
Aye, yes, it wreaks terrible havoc on these here lands, or so I'm told.
Or so you're told. Have you ever seen this dragon?
Well, I'm still standing here and not on fire, so, I've clearly not seen a dragon.
I think Faye will just gesture sort of to where Nyx is and goes, well, he's half on fire, and I don't think he's seen a dragon. And I think Nyx opens his mouth and then just closes it and goes,
Hey, well, then I still, it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to dragons. Before you
That's
know it, they'll
true.
be carrying people off and hoarding gold and all sorts of things. It's terrible for the economy, so I've been told.
Miss, it's not my place to say, but didn't Miss Amelia say that her greatest heart's desire was to enter the darkest cave? If they put a manhole over it, then she won't be able to do that, will she?
no. Well, can you let us go inside first and then come out? And after we come out, would you close it then?
I don't think we can do that. We're on a schedule, don't you know? And, it would be most dangerous to let you in when we're about to seal it.
Yes.
There are regulations about this sort of thing.
Look, the truth is, we're here on important business from the very people who signed off on this, and we need to make one last inspection of the inside of the cave before we can move on. So you either let us in, or I will have a word with your supervisors.
You're saying you've come from the Masked Mage himself.
Yes, and I'm gonna refuse to mind my manners. Young ladies must never make demands.
Oh, well, that would explain why. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for you to be wanting to go into a big hole with a ravening beastie were it not, were you not being sent here, I suppose. I suppose we can let you go in for a little while we take our mandated break. And hey, but do not tarry long inside there, lassie. And sorry, I should make you roll as well, just if it gets more complicated.
I'm like, sure, I will happily just get by with no issues. Also, I will happily get by with no issues. I rolled a 10.
Nice. So yes, that stands. Sorry. Yes. So yes, he will permit you to enter into the cave, and you may add in a new belief.
And I went with sometimes you have to be firm to be heard.
Miss. Miss.
Yes.
It is very dark in here.
Well, we'll only stay a little while after all, Amelia.
And then there's a vibration in Vroom. But it Miss. Is this what it's like to be frightened?
I think it might be.
There's nothing to be frightened about. We are on an adventure. We can, whatever the world throws at us, we have valid companions by our sides. We'll make do.
I certainly hope so.
So yeah, the cave twists and turns into the darkness. It's quite wide down here, not huge, but fairly wide, and it's but it kind of coils and spirals down underground.
Vroom's headlamps, though they should be pointing ahead, are constantly moving about to see what's around him. Them.
Cool. Yeah, and I think as you're driving down as well, there's a smell coming from deep within the cave. There's a sulphurous edge to it, and also maybe just a faint like tang of petrol. That's sort of quite sharp, fumey smell.
Maybe that's the path to the dragon. I'll try to find the way to the dragon. And Amelia is running her head into the darkness.
Perfect.
Oh dear.
So I'm rolling Run Wild.
Awesome.
And I gave a 6. So how do my senses lead me astray?
Okay. So I think you're running down the corridor. Corridor, down the passageway. That's the word I was looking for. And as you're heading down, you see for a moment what looks like the glint of gold in like a little side passageway. And for a moment, it seems like maybe there's some movement in there, something slithering over the gold, maybe. And you head in to the side passage, and then there is a sudden twanging sound, and Amelia is hoisted up in a net to the ceiling, where she's dangling, and you see that there is just there is a small pile of what looks like well, probably fool's gold just piled up with a little like one of those old-fashioned like square-shaped torches. Like there's almost shaped like a little lantern, but it's just battery operated. Is pointing at the gold so it sparkles.
Oh, there's so much there. They must see it. Faye, Faye.
And yeah, I'll hear the echoing voice and just go, well, Vroom, I don't know what we're getting ourselves into, but Amelia's ahead, so at least we know that much.
Do I just carry on, miss?
Well, I don't know, but I think it would be rather unfortunate for us to leave behind a companion. So we should follow.
Very good, miss.
Yeah, and as you drive along, your lights picking up the details of the cave, you will indeed see Amelia strung upside down in a net from the ceiling. This little pile of fool's gold in the side passageway with a little light pointing at it.
If you help Miss Amelia, miss, I'll have a chat with the gold.
Oh, good idea. Okay, and I think I'll kind of crawl out the passenger side and start moving towards Amelia.
And I'd like to use a spirit and everything to have a chat with the fool's gold.
Certainly, yeah. If you'd like to roll your move.
Okay. Oh, that's a 4. So it won't talk to me. Excuse me, I say. Could you just tell me, is there a dragon in the vicinity? Silence. Please do tell me, is there a dragon in the vicinity? Silence. And then we'll cut back, I think, to see how Faye's going to get Amelia down.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, as Faye is studying Amelia, there is she hears a voice, a soft voice from, it looks like, yeah, probably is the pile of gold, and it says, hey, I'm like really valuable, so you should probably come and get me, yeah?
I beg your pardon?
I'm gold. I'm really valuable.
And she kind of looks back towards Vroom like, I thought you were going to talk to them.
And the nearest that his suspension will manage to a kind of shrug. It's very snooty gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's very snooty. Very, very snooty gold.
Certainly has a high opinion of itself, but I mean, I never found it quite useful, and really, you cannot tell very interesting stories about gold.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's always great treasures and good stories, isn't there? And
That's
I am gold.
really start and end. It's not the interesting part.
What if I told you I wasn't actually gold, but I was a prince who's been turned into gold by a witch?
Which?
Yeah, which witch? I'm more interested on the witch than some boring prince. What is the witch that charmed you so much?
Okay, well, what if I actually was the witch and I tried to charm a prince, but the spell had gone hilariously awry?
Then you are not a very good witch, and I have no interest in talking with you.
Also, if you're so willing to change your story, then maybe it's just that, a story.
Excuse me, miss. I think this gold may be quite foolish.
Yes, I think it might. It would be rather silly of us to take gold with us that's just going to make up whatever it wants to.
Well, I mean, I could tell you entertaining stories if you like. It's really quite
you have to
boring.
become better than them.
I could
Pretty
learn.
bad at it.
You could learn. You're gold.
It's just I've been sat here in this cave for quite a while now, and it's don't get many visitors. The ones that do mostly end up caught in a net. So, I mean, it's a living, I guess.
I think we ought to concentrate on getting Miss Amelia down, miss.
Yes.
But I'm not
and
sure
I think-
how to do that.
Take your time.
Did you say take your time? Oh gosh.
Might your
Actually-
friend Nix not be able to help, miss?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm about to go. All right, I'm going to do merry-go-round, and I would like to pass Faye off to Alan.
How can we get him down, Nix? Get her down,
Yes.
Nix.
Yeah. Yes. Well, him, her, they, all important determinations. But the point is, you know, I remember hearing something about the darkest cave a while ago back in the circus. Sometimes when it's really dark, you have to risk it to make your mark. And I'm using a forest chorus to roll when you recall a song or rhyme about the place you're currently in.
Excellent. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Yeah, okay. Come on. 7. Oh man, at least it's that. Dark Songs for Darkest Caves album coming soon. So how does your song transform the environment? Also, what was the next verse which I had forgotten? Oh no. So my song transforms the environment in that I think that the light that the light coming from Nyx's bottom half kind of glances off the gold even more as he kind of lets the rhyme hang in the air. And as it bounces all over, it ends up lighting a sort of path that is far less precarious than one might imagine. That's just kind of, if Amelia were to take it, it would just kind of gently return her to us without much issue. On the other hand, what was the next verse, which I had forgotten?
Yes. Yes, I think the next verse is when you reveal that which was hidden, prepare to receive a guest unbidden. And there is...
Yes!
And yeah, I think you're able to successfully retrieve Amelia from the net. But then there is a polite cough from the corridor behind, well, in the direction that you were headed, but yes, behind you at the moment from where you are in the side passage. And
Faye asks Vroom to move his headlights to illuminate the passageway. What does she see?
Yes, there is a large reptilian creature with sparkling green scales, amber eyes that reflect the light back. It has, its wings are obviously furled at the moment along its back, and it has long clawed talons, in one of which it has a cigarette in a long holder. Oh, really? Must you create so much light in this place? Don't you know this is supposed to be the darkest cave?
Now look here, Mr. Dragon.
Ms. Dragon, please.
Ms. Dragon, look here, Ms. Dragon. Your lamp is immensely, in terms of health and safety, it's an absolute disaster. It illuminates the gold, which I understand from the gold is not gold, and then it intrigues people enough to walk there, and then my friend ended up in a net hung from the ceiling, and it's simply not good enough.
It's rather by way of being a trap to deter treasure hunters and the like from trying to abscond with my precious things.
But what about people who just want to walk in the cave?
And does it work on construction workers?
I suppose if the construction workers like gold, which, I suppose is not my place to judge. But I take it you are not here to, carry off any of my possessions.
No, we're not. We're here because my friend Amelia wants to visit the darkest cave. And two things. Two things. One thing. First of all, your apparent propensity for flying out into the countryside and setting things on fire is leading to some weasels to seal up the darkest cave so the darkest cave cannot be visited. And secondly, the whole thing about the gold.
Whoa. Faye, are you letting him say those things? That is awfully prejudicing.
I just think that you're a very inconsiderate dragon, miss.
Cool. Are you attempting to are you attempting to
others?
Yep, that's cool. So yes, roll, and we'll see how this goes.
Oh, hang on. The Faye dice never work for me, so hang on. Here we go. That's 8.
8.
So how do I overcome the challenge of getting past the dragon? Is what I think here is. I'm trying to browbeat the dragon.
Yep.
How do you falter or go too far in the process? I think I pass through Vex into making her angry.
Yes, I think that's. I said, well, really, this is quite untoward. You're coming into my house and berating me like this. I have every mind to not invite you in for tea, but that would be awfully impolite of me. So I suppose you can come in and we can have a chat. And the dragon manages somehow to turn around in the passageway and heads back inside, deeper into the cave.
Well, I suppose we should go, shouldn't we? That would be polite.
Well, yes, for once, Faye, I am so disappointed on you.
Why?
Why? You started making assumptions of the dragon. Look how beautiful and majestic and powerful she is. She does not take such behavior from someone, and look at how dignified she was that she tolerated your outbursts. You shame me. I'm ashamed of being your friend.
Well,
I'm
now,
terrible.
hang on. It's all well and good that we all have to live here currently in this very moment, and we're all going to make choices that are going to affect the people around us. But she was doing it with the best of intentions, and as much as you can kind of get on her about what might have been said, the fact is, if you really think about it, no one completely warned us about anything because they didn't know. And now we know, and we're learning. And I think learning is as close as we're going to get at this point to just moving forward. So, relax. It's a fun time. The dragon's fire. I'm part fire. There's so much fire. Let's just enjoy ourselves.
I guess there is no sense in lingering on the past, but I hope the next time we just don't judge other people as actually. Otherwise, we are no better than those stupid weasels.
Awesome.
All right, says Faye.
Okay, I think I'm going to call a quick 5-minute break there because I could do with grabbing some more water. But when we so officially when we get back, we've only got about half an hour to run. Are people okay if we overrun a little bit? I will try and keep us fairly to time, but if anyone has to be away, then let me know now, and I won't. Cool, brilliant. So yes, we'll get back. We'll have a brief conversation with the dragon, and then we will enter the end phase of this particular game. So thank you very much, and see you all in 5.
I'm back.
Awesome. Cool. So, yes, the dragon leads you into a huge cavern. It is dark, but perhaps not as dark as advertised. There is some ambient lighting in the in here, and it's a sort of like soft reddish light mostly, and you'll notice in here that smell of sulfur and petrol is stronger here, and there are numerous devices being in various states of assembly scattered around the room. Well, not scattered around the room, but arranged on like workbenches around the room. There's also a nice table set up for tea, and some like photos and portraits hanging on the wall that appear to be of various women in tiaras. And says, yes, well, young human and your companions, what brings you here to my home?
Well, I first of all, I'd rather like to apologise for what I said earlier. I was perhaps a little bit excitable or excited. So I'm terribly sorry if I was at all rude. That wasn't my intention.
Well, I accept your apology, young girl. While your manners may need a little work, you definitely have some backbone. It's not many who are willing to stand up to a dragon, and so you clearly have some spirit, and that I can appreciate.
And I also wanted to apologise for just assuming that that what the weasels had said about dragons was true. And I look across at Amelia as if to say, I'm trying to make things right.
I hear many of the weasels have been working for the Mask Mage, who is a most insufferable bore.
We've not met the Mask Mage, but Amelia knows a lot about the world. Amelia, have you heard anything about the Masked Mage?
Oh yes, that's who the cat pirates have been fighting for a long time because it kicked out of them of their homes. Those awful servants of the Dark Mage. So it makes sense that he ensnared the weasels. You know how weasels are. They seek easy explanations. They seek someone to order them around. They are good minions for them. Poor weasels.
And I also should introduce my friends. This is Vroom, and this is Nix.
Hello. Clearly, I'm Vroom. No, Nix.
Nice to meet you. I'm glad to see you've dressed for the occasion.
I wonder if you could help us at all. You see, my friends and I are looking for a variety of things. Amelia, for instance, was wanting to visit the darkest cave, and Vroom would really like to find out who made them. And Nix is looking for a real reason to celebrate, rather than just making up reasons.
There's so many ways to make up reasons. Go ahead.
Can you at all help, Miss Dragon?
Well, in the first, your friend has indeed found the darkest cave. I hope it is all that it lives up to its reputation.
Oh yes, there's someone so amazing there. You're the most impressive person that I've met in this world. And there is not a single mirror in sight, or not a pool of water. It's amazing.
No, I do tend to avoid mirrors. I really see little need for them. I already know how magnificent I look. But yes. And, well, as to your mechanical friend there, I confess I may have had some small hand in their design.
Really? Goodness me. And then I think we see Faye survey the cave where there are all these bits of mechanical construction and appraises Vroom as if to say, yes, I can see the similarity.
Yes, it is I do enjoy working with mechanical devices and well, obviously the great power of the magic that suffuses this realm, which is my birthright, as it is of all creatures, of course, but mine in particular. And I fear it is that reason why the Mask Mage is so keen to see my activities curtailed.
Well, then is there no other way out of this cave? Because I fear that when we leave, we have to leave soon because the weasels will have finished their tea break.
Well, I am sure there is... I think it will be difficult to dissuade them from continuing their task, but Whether they can sufficiently seal me in here, that is another question.
Well, would you like us to try to stop them sealing up the cave?
If there is anything you can do, then I would greatly appreciate it, of course.
So I think that Faye looks around at her friends and says, well, I think the least we can do is to try to help Ms. Dragon.
Well, if we liberate the weasels, then I guess construction will stop. So don't worry. If you want to sneak past them, I'm sure I can get us through them, Faye.
Well, also, there was that document that they had, work orders and everything. If they didn't have work orders, if they didn't have anything to indicate that, what's to keep them from just going crazy? And then we can throw a party. I don't know. Party sounds nice.
Well, I think we should finish our tea and head out.
Yes.
Because Vroom has found the person that made them, and Amelia can tell stories about the darkest cave. Really, all we have to do now is to find a proper reason to celebrate, and perhaps freeing the weasels might be a good reason to celebrate, Nix.
Yes, that sounds joyous and raucous and royous. That's a new one. Raucously joyous.
Then come along. Vroom, do you want to come too? And I think Vroom will almost certainly want to come too. And so we load up Vroom and we roar out of the cave back to the weasels.
As you go, the dragon will say, "Do take care, dear child. I expect great things of you, and I am sure you shall achieve them."
So how shall we liberate the weasels, Amelia?
Well, we should take down the Masked Mage.
How should we bring down the Mask Mage, Amelia?
Well, and she turns around. You're the smart one, Faye. I can bring you there, but I think then it's up to you.
But I think you're so good in a crisis. You're so good in a crisis.
Well, I am, but I'm better at running away. I think you need to really believe on truth if you want to break the illusions of the Masked Mage. And honestly, truth is not my strength. I cannot face my own truth, so how can I do that?
Well, which one of you could find the Masked Mage?
Well, I can find it, and then it's up to you.
Well, it's up to all of us.
Well, if we want to liberate the weasels and have them have a party, maybe we also need to get the Masked Mage to join in the party, because if he joins in the party, then they'll join also. There's a leap in logic I'm making. I'm not sure what it is.
Well then, we arrive at the weasels.
Yeah.
And do we just drive past them and rely on you, Amelia, to find the Masked Mage?
Yeah, unless I need to sneak us around the weasels.
Not particularly. I don't think. I think that they have no particular interest in stopping you from leaving this place.
Then I think that Faye will confront the weasel foreman and say, "You must stop what you're doing now, because in that cave is a charming lady dragon and you're just sealing her in for no good reason.
We've got a perfectly legitimate reason. This work order tells us to do so. Lassie, it's not our place to question the orders we've been given.
Without that work order, you couldn't carry on, could you?
I mean, I suppose that's technically true, aye.
Okay. Then Faye grabs the work order, leaps into Vroom, and we disappear into the distance.
Perfect.
I am leaping before I look.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I can buy that. So yes, feel free to roll.
Hang on, I'm just wondering, is it time to stand by principles?
Yeah, it could be standing by. I
Conviction.
think if you've got if you think you can draw in one or more of the beliefs you've made up so far, then you can certainly do that.
Helping someone in need is not restricted to one's gender.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be firm to be heard.
Yep.
It's never wrong to be true to yourself.
Yep.
And people, bracket weasels bracket, should be more considerate of others.
Yeah, that's fair. So you get to roll a grand total of 5 dice.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So hang on. These are blue Faye dice, aren't they? Are they blue? Are Faye's dice blue? Yeah. Well, hang on then. Let me create some more blue dice. Okay, so that's 3, 3, 1, and then I'll re-roll the existing Faye dice.
Yep, sure thing.
3 and a 1.
So that's a grand total of 6 if we go with that. I will point out, though, at this point, again, because I didn't call out attention to this earlier, you'll notice, I think the first move on each of the companions' sheets is a move that allows them to...
It's a help move.
Yep. So if either of you think... if either currently... Nix or... Amelia think that they can bring their help move into play, then feel free to speak up.
Yeah, as the weasels start messing around us, and it seems that it's becoming really scary, and both Vroom and Faye seem to be faltering. Amelia jumps on top of the car and starts making noise. Come on, they're just weasels. Pop away.
Actually, I'm a pine marten. That's quite offensive. But yes, you can roll your your move.
Okay, so I get 8, so the girl might reroll and get 1 plus, and 7, 9. What do you fear will happen? I fear that they will tell the Masked Mage that I was there, and the Masked Mage will be prepared to turn what I fear against me.
Certainly.
And Faye can re-roll all 5 dice?
That's right, yep.
Gee whiz. Don't think I've ever rolled that many dice. And then take the top 2.
That's it.
Well, that is 11.
Nice. So yes, you successfully steal the work order, and the weasels and pine martens do indeed desist their activity for now. So yes, and now that you have the work order, it is of course written on letterheaded paper, well, a letterheaded form that in fact has the Masked Mage's address, which is at the Hall of 10,000 Masks.
I'm just wondering whether anyone would like to take on Faye, or would you prefer to play your companion at this point? Because the simple answer is I'm not sure that Vroom's got much going in terms of anti-wizarding.
I think the best way is if at one moment you want to bring out of room, then at that time you pass it to another player.
But yeah, no. If you're happy to continue playing the girl for now, and everyone else is happy not playing the girl, then yeah, it's fine. To hang on to
Fine,
have,
fine. I just thought
yeah.
I'd check it.
No, yeah, no. That's cool. That's perfect.
So we roar to the address on the headed notepaper.
Yes, and the you arrive at the Hall of 10,000 Masks, and it's that odd. It looks like a kind of. It looks quite. It's an imposing building. It's impressive, but not necessarily beautiful. It's kind of that heavy, dark concrete brutalist style. Think of something you might see on the South Bank. It's
Stalinist.
Yeah. And as you come to a halt outside, there is it does have like big glass doors, and you can see it does have that sort of inside. It's all kind of tiles, like polished tiles, and hanging angular glass chandeliers. And there is a masked figure stood by the door.
Excuse me, sir. Are you the masked mage?
No, miss, I am the masked doorman. May I, but if you wish to enter the Hall of 10,000 Masks, then you are welcome to do so. He will open the door and gesture you inside. Says, please go to the reception, and they will provide you with a mask.
Will we all get masks, sir?
Of course, all wear masks in the Hall of 10,000 Masks.
So we approach reception. What next? What do you think? Is this okay?
For now, I mean, things could change at any moment. But honestly, I don't know if I've heard much about the Hall of 1,000 Masks. I mean, the saying usually goes, ask about the hall and you really won't find all. So I think I'm going forest chorus and backing myself into that kind of corner that I was like, oh, what rhymes? Oh, no. What have I done? So I'll go ahead and just reroll selected. 7 again.
Excellent. So, how does your song transform the environment?
I think without meaning to, the hall itself starts revealing that, like, the walls are actually made up of masks, which is why it's seemingly unknowable because, it's only there if you look close enough. Otherwise, it looks like normal walls and everything. So then I guess I need to ask, what was the next verse, which I had forgotten?
Sure. So I think the next verse is the...
I don't think you need to feel you have to rhyme.
No,
it,
I was just thinking of how I wanted to phrase this. But yes, and now I think I can do it, and can fit it in, which is to say that yes, the masks cover your face, but the truth they don't replace. And as you are head over to reception, the receptionist will hand each one of you a box that contains a mask. Amelia, what mask are you given to wear here?
A mask that is exactly like her face, but with very properly girly, with a very feminine blue bow, and it disgusts her to no end.
Nice. I like it. Nyx, what mask is Nyx given?
It is a satyr mask with horns protruding from it.
Nice. And finally, Amelia. Faye, what mask are you given?
I think I'm given the mask of the girl who bullied me when she laughed at my motorized car back in the real world.
Nice. Yes, and you head into the hall, and it's, as I said, it's that sort of we're not talking kind of like Versailles and sort of sumptuous things, but we're talking it's nicely polished stone flooring, stone tile flooring. It probably is just like vaulted concrete, but with like metallic like plaques over it with interesting designs and shapes, which you do notice when you look closely at them, are sort of masks that reflect the light out in them. Hanging lights here, and again, it's always my go-to when discussing, when talking about somewhere kind of like uncanny like that, but it is kind of like going to somewhere like the Barbican on the South Bank, where it's just very, there is a certain beauty to it, but it's also just stark and odd, and lots of like mezzanines in places and stairs that lead down to places that you're not quite sure where they are. And yes, there are numerous people here in masks of various types. Some are animals, some are sort of like Venetian style masks. There's all manner of different sorts of masks. The men are all dressed in sort of pinstripe suits, and the women in sort of long flowing evening dresses. It's that kind of 1950s easy listening type of music playing. There are people going around with masked waiters going around with trays of like canapes and cocktails.
Excuse me, I tap a waiter. I think I'll probably tap a waiter on the shoulder. And say, excuse me, could you direct us to the Mask Mage, please?
The Mask Mage will find you if he has business with you, I am sure, my lady. He is quite busy, as you must understand.
But it's very important that we meet with him.
Well, I suppose you could. Speak with his secretary.
And who are they, please?
That would be Sir December over there, and he points at a man who is wearing he is wearing a sort of a pinstriped suit, but his mask is it actually does look. No, his mask is, he basically just has a sort of medieval knight's helmet on, with a big plume feather, and
So approach him and say, "Excuse me, could I speak to the Mask Mage, please?"
and what business do you have with the Mask Mage, young lady?
It's about a dragon and a manhole cover and some weasels.
Look, that doesn't really sound terribly important. I mean, well, I suppose dragons. Now, dragons, there's a different matter. They're great and powerful beasts, and well, I have slain many a dragon in my time. I'm a master of the sword, and I have yes, seen off many of the blackguards. So, where is this dragon, you say?
Well,
And he sort of musses your hair. Don't worry, little girl. I'll save you from that terrible beast.
oh, now, excuse me, sir. I don't think it's necessary for you to patronize me. I think I've asked you a perfectly civil question, and you're treating me like a child.
Well, you do seem to be a child, dear. So please, do try not to take up too much of my precious time.
Excuse me, but even if I am a child, I don't deserve to be patronized. So I absolutely insist that we get to see the Masked Mage now. Because why? What? Who gave you the job of stopping people? And I think I am failing to keep my feelings to myself.
Sure.
So that's 2D. Oh, here we go. The Faye dice. Get ready to help out, companions.
At the ready.
That's a 7. Oh.
If someone wants to step in and try and help out, then feel free. I mean, that obviously will be a success anyway, but...
I think Amelia is in too much of a mess to be any of help. She has been the most still that she's been the entire session.
Oh. I think Nyx from behind the mask will kind of like lean down as he's been floating in the air and just kind of offer, if he's in your way, do you want me to make him go away?
Yes, please, Nyx. Oh, but he has to tell me where the Masked Mage is first.
Understood. So I think I'm going to offer to grant a wish for the girl, and if she accepts, then right. So I have to roll first, and we'll see how that goes. Oh dear. Wait. Sorry. When one of the girl's beliefs inspires you, say which belief and roll 3 dice instead of 2. So I haven't been using that, but I'm going to go. Sometimes you have to be firm to be heard.
Yep.
So I will add 1 more orange dice to that and hope for the best. Ha! It's a 10. It's a total of a 10 now.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
So Faye gets to re-roll and add 1.
That's correct.
Yes, that is correct.
Fingers crossed. That's become 5.
Oh dear.
There's no way out of that, is there?
No, sadly.
I
So
should roll beliefs, not anyway. Never mind.
no. So,
what part of my rebellion is misunderstood?
Well, yeah, you can. That I believe that's for you to detail. But yeah, if you have,
I think that we are treated like children, and we are herded away to some other location.
yes, I think that's fair. So I think you are taken to
could we be taken to the headmaster?
Yeah, so no, I think what's going to happen is that you will be taken to a room which, probably it does actually look very reminiscent to the headmaster's office at Faye's school, and if you want to rewrite that belief, because you still get to do that whilst this is going on, if you have an idea. But
yes, I've written better out than in.
Nice. And I think it looks very much like, say, like you're at the headmaster's office as you are led inside, and there is a man there in again, they look a bit like school teachers, like an old-fashioned school teacher's gown, but kind of covered in like silver filigree and probably glittering slightly in the light. And they are wearing a mask. It is probably, I think it's like the comedy and tragedy mask, but it's like half and half of each.
I think Faye will kind of look to the others. What do we do now? She's scared of the head teacher.
Yeah. And there are also two figures, both dressed in, unlike the finder of here, one dressed in like a sort of a grey suit, and the other dressed in a sort of floral print dress. And they both have masks on, but the masks look like Faye's parents. And they're just sort of watching silently in the background.
Of course they do. I think Faye is absolutely dumbstruck and just doesn't know what to do, because she's thoroughly intimidated by these three authority figures. And all this whimsy, it just looks like her parents are just going to tell her off about it. Help, she mouths.
Yeah, I think Nyx is probably gonna notice this, and after the wish sort of went sideways and everything, he's just gonna kind of go, well, I'm sure you weren't expecting us, but then when it comes down to the most fun types of parties, they're the unexpected ones. And I think that he's going to step forward and just kind of like take such a deep bow that he actually kind of like does a little somersault before coming back up. He doesn't like come up that way. He like spins and comes up that way. And just kind of like cocks his head and goes, anyways, what I was thinking. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, because I am often wrong when thinking. But it seems to me that the weasels are a little too directed at this point. And we were kind of thinking, maybe, hear me out, we relax things a little bit. We kind of wind them back, and we just have a grand old time, and afterwards we can decide whether the weasels are better off doing things like sealing up a cave, or whether they should just be weasels, because after all, they are weasels, and I am a fawn, and she is a girl, and she is also a girl, and we are what we are. And I think what I'd like to do is Wild Rumpus.
Sure thing.
Yeah. And I will go ahead and also say better out than in.
Yep, that's fair.
So that worked out pretty well. I was like, oh, that's pretty immediate. I can use that. And that will be an 8.
Okay, so who joins your revelry and what help do they offer?
Okay, so I'd like it to be the Masked Mage, but I also kind of want to see what happens when I try and involve the parent masks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that is. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's probably more interesting if we say that what happens is that you basically coax the parents into like loosening up and you know, you see the masks they're wearing become slightly more animated looking, and the overall look of this being the headmaster's office just fades into the background, and we're back in just this sort of brutalist concrete hall, and the Mask Mage is stood there alone now.
Oh, okay. Since it was a 7 to 9, I also ask you, what do they ask in return?
So I think that you have to. Dance with the parents. Not a big cost, but that's the.
That's fine. I'm happy to be a distraction for the parents. Well, I have a real celebration to attend to, I think.
Yep, awesome. Well, you have really proven quite resourceful, little one, haven't you? But you have been causing an awful lot of disruption in my kingdom, and I really would like it if you would stop.
But it has been an exciting trip, Mask Mage. But Amelia, I think you still have some secrets to reveal to us, Mask Mage. Don't you, Amelia?
Don't talk to me, please. Please.
Look, girls. The purpose of this kingdom is not to provide you with excitement. The magic that fueled this place was being used in a most inefficient fashion. I am attempting to make things better here, and yet you thwart me at every turn, and I will not have it.
But that's the whole point, Mage. The whole point of magic is that it makes things different. It doesn't make things the same. The little imperfections are vital. How else can otherwise magic isn't magical, Mage?
I have been documenting the magical spells in exquisite detail, and he kind of gestures and like bookcases with sort of with neatly lettered tomes on them rise from the floor. When I am able to control and regulate all of the magic in this land, then all will have access to it, and all will be able to use it in an efficient fashion that does not...
But it'll just not be magical anymore. And I think I am standing strong in my convictions. I think I'm helping someone in need. I think the weasels need to be helped. I think that the dragon needs to be helped. I think that sometimes you have to be firm to be heard. And sometimes you just have to let stuff out. You shouldn't bottle it up like he's trying to do with magic. And it's never wrong to be true to yourself. And that's what Nyx has done, and Vroooom and Amelia. And I think he just needs to be more considerate of people. So I think I'm hitting 5 of the 6.
Sure thing.
So
yeah.
I think I need an additional Faye dice. Okay. Oh gosh. So right. So let's re-roll all the Faye dice. So that's 4, 5, 6 dice. Well, that's 11 on the Faye dice, and another 11 on the extra dice. So that's 11. That's 12. However you look at it.
Nice.
So I want to browbeat the Mask Mage into submission, and I want him to realise that what he's doing is not right.
Yeah. And I think as you harangue him, I think he takes almost like a step back from the force of your words, and then the mask slips off of his face and hits the floor and breaks into 2 halves, and he covers his face with his hand and says, no, I cannot have this. Get out now. Everything must be in its place. And you see kind of like almost like a wind starts picking up and flapping. Some of the books start falling off of the shelves and riffling open, and the other masks in this place start to crack and fracture as the magic sort of is unleashed, and you can feel it kind of whipping at your hair and your clothes.
And Faye will gesture to Amelia to start ripping pages out of the books and throwing them in the air, so they begin to swirl about around Nyx's revelry.
Turn pages into confetti.
Excellent. And I think as there is this like whirl of paper in the air on this magical wind, for a moment there's so much paper in the air that everything goes dark, and then Faye opens her eyes to find herself lying on the floor of the library, a big heavy book on the floor next to her. And that is where we will end the main part of the session. So the last thing we have to do is to do a brief epilogue. And actually, I'm just going to quick look at this. I've quite slightly blanked on how this sort of goes. So yes. Yeah, that's it. So the first thing is each player basically each player gets to narrate a short epilogue about their about basically the effect that the girl had on them and how their life changes in the underground. So we'll start with Amelia.
So we see Amelia that wandering around the underground, and she seems to be on walking without aim, but then she looks at the distance and there's another one coming. I can feel it. Come, let's greet her. And then she rides on top of the dragon to meet another girl that found their way into the underground.
Nice. Yes, and Vroom.
I think because we now know that the dragon has left with Amelia, I think we see Vroom in a brightly lit cavern that used to be occupied by the dragon. And Vroom is making things, but he's making things not just out of metal, but he's incorporating vines and wood and decorative plants into his designs. And he is pulling together the animate and the inanimate.
Nice. Nice. And Nyx.
So I think that we find Nyx sort of back at the circus. I almost said surface, but when where before he was, very used to being drunk and everything, he seems to have found another outlet for his revelry. He's taken quite a bit of the of like a number of the masks from the Hall of a Thousand Masks, just kind of being a little bit more shifting the faces and everything, so that now both his top half and his bottom half look strange and out of the ordinary, and he just kind of switches it up and changes and shifts and feels more at peace with that than he did previously, and he doesn't need to drink it away.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Thank you. And then finally, each player gets to take one of the girl's beliefs and narrates a short scene about how that affects Faye, either in the immediate aftermath of her journey to the underground or later in her life, as you see fit. I'll start again. Ludo, would you like to narrate a brief scene about Faye?
So, helping someone in need is not restricted by one's gender, and we get to see an older Faye joining side by side along the struggles of the civil rights movement. She put helping others beyond any notions of what her place in society is supposed to be based on their gender identity.
Awesome. I actually got a little shiver there. That's really nice. So Alan, if
it's never wrong to be true to yourself, because on that demonstration we see her, she's with her wife.
Excellent. And finally, Peter.
I'm looking over the beliefs. I think it's probably past the previous bit, and it's she's putting her daughter to bed and just kind of gently telling her a story while slowly easing the light off, and then just kind of allowing there to be one small light as she goes to leave. For the dark is scary, but without it, you don't notice the light.
That's brilliant. That's really nice. Thank you very much for that, everyone. So this has been Girl Underground. Thank you very much, everyone, for playing. And if you've been watching, I'll hopefully see you soon.